Hello YouTube, it is your boy B3 back with another kicking movie reaction review. Got another found footage film and another monster movie for you guys today. I had big hype for this when it came out because I thought the monster looked cool and it was found footage and a monster film. Found footage monster films are like food to me. I could just absorb them all day. They're like sustenance. But it is called Blackwater Vampire from 2014. It's a horror thriller kind of film. You can watch it on Amazon Prime and Tubi, but I've actually had the DVD since it came out, so... but yeah, it drops January 21st, 2014. It's got a 4.2 on IMDb, 11% on Rotten Tomatoes, and 2.8 out of 5 on Vudu. I think it's a little better than that. We'll talk about that. But a documentary film crew investigates a series of killings where women were mutilated and left in the woods with their bodies drained of blood. They journey into the forest and come face to face with a form of evil they never could have imagined. Directed by Evan Trammell, screenplay by Evan Trammell, music composed by Richard Flegon, and it's produced by Andrea Moner and Jesse Baguette. It's starring Danielle Lozio, Andrea Moner, Anthony Fanelli, Bill Oberst Jr., Robin Stefan, Brandon Despain, and Miles Cranford. Yeah. So, pretty fun little creature feature. I did enjoy it. It could have been better, though. I have some just found footage tips for the film. For starters, when they show the monster for the first time, it's a full reveal. Shouldn't really have a full reveal till later, maybe closer to the end. They also loved close-ups of the creature's face. They loved those. We get at least 4 of them, 3 or 4 of them. The close-up of the creature's face was fine. They shouldn't have done it the first time we see the creature, which they did. But, like, the close-ups looked good, except they had some CGI going on with the creature's mouth to make it open wider. When you saw the creature's mouth open abnormally wide in a shot from further away, it looked good. But when it was up close, it didn't look terribly great. And it does that at least twice from up close, and it's not superb. But the makeup for the creature is great. It's great practical effects for the creature. It has a very, very good makeup on the face, and it's just basically just facial makeup with some body paint is most of the costume. But it is a good-looking creature. It's simplistic, but very good. Also, if you've seen some of my other reviews about vampires and stuff, I've reviewed many vampire movies, but I'm a very huge fan of vampires looking more like monsters. See Nosferatu here? Like, he could not blend in with humans without... In the film, he can't blend in with humans without heavily covering himself up, you know? But, That's the kind of vampire I like. Just the hideously ugly, would not fit in with humans vampire. That's my favorite kind of look for a vampire. Actually, in my... You guys probably don't care about this, but in the tabletop role-playing game Call of Cthulhu, the way my vampires work in my story is that the older a vampire is, the more monstrous it is. So once you first get turned, you just look like yourself. But as the hundreds of years go on, you slowly turn more and more monstrous, like Nosferatu here. That's part of my vampire lore for that game. But feel free to use it, you know. But I gotta say, I really liked the look of the monster. In fact, that's one of the things that drew me to this film in the first place, because you kind of get a preview of the monster's face on the cover of the DVD. And when they introduce the monster, it's this shot of it hanging upside down from a tree, and then they zoom in on it, and it looks bad. Like, the image of it hanging from the tree is not good looking. and then they zoom in on it, and it's like way too clear of an image for how far they are zoomed in, and you can see it's a full reveal of the monster. You can see it so clearly. They should have waited to do the full reveal. CGI should be used very, very sparingly in a found footage film, and it was probably used just the right amount in this film. I'll give them that. There's also this part where there's something in a woman's stomach, and it's like pushing out on the stomach, kind of alien chestburster style, and that was a very, very good CGI effect. It looked real. You gotta be minimal with the CGI in a found footage film. But the acting was fine, you know. It wasn't spectacular, but it wasn't bad either, you know. Just it's fine. Acting was totally fine. The story is kind of generic, which is fine. I don't actually really care about that. It's nothing groundbreaking story-wise. There were a bunch of murders in the woods. In all the murders, there is a symbol carved on the victim. They have a huge bite mark on their neck, and they're drained of blood. So there is a town legend about vampires, because of course that would happen several times, and you would think a vampire. But a woman is killed every 10 years in this fashion. And of course these people decide to do it once the 10-year mark is up. But someone has been blamed for these murders, and he's been arrested. And he claims that there's a conspiracy and that he didn't do it, and that the reason that people convicted him without any real evidence and sentenced him to death so quickly is because he knows the secret, and they needed one, a scapegoat, and two, he knows the secret about the vampires, so he has to go. So he's like claiming that they're injecting him with drugs and stuff, and there does actually seem to be some evidence towards that, especially towards the end of the film. Because it is revealed, this is spoiler heavy, that there is some kind of cult thing going on. There are people actively helping the vampire in the woods. But there's also this old woman who's trying to help these victims. And it seems like the vampire impregnated the woman making the documentary, and then at the end of the film, she gives birth to a little monster baby. And the monster baby's also practical. It could have been a little better of an effect. I mean, the effect was fine. Like, the baby monster looked fine, and the effect for it was fine. But they do a huge reveal of the baby monster that's a very up-close shot that lingers for a while, so any faults in it can be easily seen, like how the limbs don't move at all, basically only the mouth moves. Would have been a better effect if the baby was kind of never shown, I think. I don't think the baby should have been revealed. Because we all know what's happening, right? A vampire takes her away and then leaves her alive. Something's in her chest. We actually see her give birth, but we don't see the actual birth happen. We just see the upper half of her while people are holding her down, so she gives birth. And then at the end of the film, the last scene is like the first birthday of the baby vampire. And that female character is still alive. She seems to be held against her will and forced to raise it. She looked like she wanted to die. What a horrifying fate. It's almost worse than being killed. It's way worse than being killed by the creature. Normally these found footage movies end with everyone dying, and I thought for sure it would, but it did not. She had a much worse fate. But I don't think the baby should have ever been shown. I think there should have been kind of an air of mystery to that. Like all good found footage films, this movie doesn't answer every question. But if you really think about it, you can kind of form your own conclusion very, very easily. Like, the symbol is the symbol of the cult, and these people will maybe, like, worship the vampire or something. I don't think the baby vampire should have been shown at all. I don't think it should have been shown at all. I think that should have been left a mystery. Because here's the thing about horror. There's a reason when I play my horror tabletop role-playing game that I don't use miniatures. And that is because people will always imagine something scarier. People will always imagine something scarier than reality. Right? So if you don't show us the baby, we imagine something more horrific than what they would have given us. You know? So I don't think the baby should have been shown. I think this movie just showed too much. Right? I think the reveal of the vampire should have been more towards the end as kind of a final reveal. Instead of revealing the vampire in its entirety the very first time it really appears to them physically. And then just having full-on shots of it. I think the best shot of the vampire was when one of the women was hiding in the cabin, and she was looking through a little hole, and the vampire was walking around looking for her in the dark. She had night vision on. I think that was the best, because it was like blurry, but you could still see the creature. Like, these up-close, very, very clear shots of its face were kind of too good to be true. You know what I mean? Like, the more you show a creature in found footage, the less, I guess, scary it is, and the less believable it is. Because the whole thing about found footage movies is, if you're not totally immersed, they don't work. Right? And I wasn't totally immersed, because that first big reveal of the vampire just really took me out of it. And but it was still, I don't think it was a bad film at all. Like, I'm just saying some stuff that I would have preferred if it went that way, yes. But I did enjoy the movie. I thoroughly enjoyed the movie. Completely worth buying the DVD for me. I'll definitely watch it again because I'm a found footage junkie. I enjoyed the film, but it's not a top tier found footage film to me. Yeah, it's no Hunting the Legend, you know? Which I do need to review, don't I? I need to review Hunting the Legend. Where's my copy of that? It's somewhere. I have it. I think I know where it is. But, yeah, that's it for Blackwater Vampire. It was good, but it really could have been better. And I do think it's a little underrated, but not that much underrated. So, that is it. If you want to watch the film, it's on Tubi and Amazon Prime. Thank you all very much for your support. Please remember to rate, comment, subscribe. Check out all the cool links in the description below. Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, and also we got merch. We got merch if you like merch. So that's it. Thank you all once again, and I'll see you all next time.